progress in our land. We call it the land of our birth.
Paradise here on earth.
It's the opinion of the expert.
Paradise here on earth.
Oh, because Nevis nice.
Nevis nice.
Nevis nice.
Nevis nice.
Nevis nice,
Nevis
nice.
nice.
Nevis nice.
Nevis nice.
Natural beauty, the air so clean.
We're the queen of the Caribbean.
Oh, that piece of fraud, man, I want to
We're the
scream.
queen of the Caribbean.
Okay, we are ready. Thank you for sticking and staying with us. We had a little technical difficulty, but we are over that now. Welcome to the Concerned Citizens Movement meeting here in the great village of Jessups tonight. We want to welcome in all of you who are here in person, all of you who are looking at the live stream online, whether be it by Facebook or by YouTube, or if you are watching on our own CCM website. We want to welcome you. For those of you who are following us via Van Radio, the Eastern Caribbean's powerhouse, we want to welcome you also. Of course, you know that the Concerned Citizens Movement Party is a God-fearing party. So tonight, as we commence our meeting, we will do so by starting with a word of prayer. I want to invite Mr. Stedman Truss to come and invoke God's presence here tonight.
Let us pray. Oh, Father and God, we thank you for another day and another night. We thank you, God, that we can come here to educate and to give information to the people on the hearing of our voice. We thank you, God, that, Lord, as we go to this meeting, we pray that your presence will be with us. Help us to speak the truth and nothing but the truth. And God, at the end of this meeting, let the entire population be more educated as to why we are here. We thank you, God, that you have given us men and women of integrity. And as we present them to the people of Nevis, let them be acceptable. In the name of Jesus we pray. Amen.
Thank you very much, Mr. Truss. We're very happy to be here with you tonight in Jessups to bring the good message of the Concerned Citizens Movement for this federal election. Of course, you would all be aware that our motto going into this federal election is to increase the momentum.
Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum.
I like that. The DJ quick tonight is a harbinger of things to come. Ladies and gentlemen, we are looking to increase the momentum here in Nevis. Of course, our speakers will be coming to you. We have been going through the highways and the byways of Nevis and speaking to everybody in Nevis and bringing that message that we are here to represent all of Nevis. You see, we are in 2022 and federal elections, they were not due so soon. So why are we having federal elections this early? And you see, the reason behind this is that our people in Nevis voted for the Concerned Citizens Movement in constituencies 9, 10, and 11. That represents the whole of Nevis. So Nevis spoke with one voice in the elections of 2020. And our representatives went over to St. Kitts to be a part of the federal government with a full mandate from the people of Nevis to represent us. And along the way, what our representatives realized was that the gentleman who they had given their support to be the Prime Minister, Dr. Timothy Harris, he decided that the people of Nevis should not get the full fruits of citizenship. You see, we have a program in this country that we call citizenship by investment. We have come to know it by the shortened form CBI, and it generates quite a lot of funds, quite a lot of money. And what we realize is that the Prime Minister was very hide up with how the money go. And his intent was to keep the most of the money over on St. Kitts to do whatever he feel like with it and not give the people of Nevis a fair share. Well, 2020 we had COVID pandemic. We're coming out of the pandemic now. And our representatives decided it was time to put up or shut up. And what they decided to do? They decided to put up that if the people of Nevis could not get that full and fair share that we deserve, that they are no longer going to be a part of that. And so here we are in 2022. We are back at federal elections again. And this time, we want you to put that support behind the Concerned Citizens Movement once more so that we can bring that full and fair share for the people of Nevis. There's a lot of things we can do when we get that fair share. You know, my role tonight is to chair the proceedings, and we have a lot of speakers to come. Speakers who have a lot of good things to bring to you, the people. And so I won't go too much further with my little opening remarks. I want to invite our first speaker for this evening. And our first speaker has been the person who has been the representative for Charlestown in our local election. Charlestown is Nevis 1 in the local election. And we like to refer to him as the new brand in town. He has brought a brand of politics and a brand of representation to Nevis, the likes of which we have never seen before. I'm sure anywhere you go in Nevis at this point in time, you see his handiwork. All of the physical infrastructure being developed in Nevis, all of the roads and so on, you see being done. That is his handiwork. So please help me to welcome to the podium the Honorable Spencer Brand.
Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. There's a snake in the country, and his name is Timothy. Tell that scam divisions want their money. He went and signed the treaty down there by the library. Bowling and division is his daddy. Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum.
Good evening. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, Troy Youth and Libert. And let me say a very pleasant good evening to those who are viewing this edition of CCM meeting here in the heart of Jessups. Also a very pleasant good evening, and it could even be good morning to those who are listening to us via Von Radio, the only powerhouse of the Eastern Caribbean. And an extra special good evening to the residents here in Jessups. Now, ladies and gentlemen, tonight I am here with a very simple message to you, the people of Jessups, to those who are listening and to those who are viewing. I am here to say to you tonight that by the 8th of August, we will have a federal election here in St. Kitts and Nevis. It is as simple as that. I am here to say to you
that by the 8th of August 2022, the people of St. Christopher and Nevis will be called upon once again to participate in a federal election. 3 years ahead of schedule, ladies and gentlemen. And we must ask the question, why are we down this road again? Why are we at this juncture again in a federal election? Well, the chairman indicated some of it. He spoke about the issue of a fair share. But I want to say to all of you that for me, it is more than an issue of fair share. It is all about a prime minister who is not prepared to keep his word to the people of Nevis. It is all about a man who would have signed a document in the heart of Charlestown, that historic town, on the courthouse steps, and said to the world that he would have abided by these documents that we now know as the Charlestown Accord. And he would have parted away from that document. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we would have sent to Bastille 3 distinguished gentlemen, 3 men of character, 3 men who often put country above self. You, the voters in Jessups, would have given the Honorable Alexis Jeffers an opportunity in 2020. We would have come to you in that election of 2020, and we ask you to support the Honorable Alexis Jeffers in that election of 2020. And you did so. Because for the first time in our history, that the Concerned Citizens Movement Party would have won Nevis 11 at the federal level. And you, the voters of Jessups, would have said to Alexis, we are prepared to give you a chance. And in less than 2 years, the Honorable Alexis Jeffers have once again resurrected agriculture in the Federation. Well, he did it before on Nevis, but he would have resurrected agriculture on St. Kitts again. We're now hearing them talking about night market in St. Kitts. Well, we're doing that long time in Nevis. I am saying to you, residents and voters of Jessups, I want you to hold strength. I want you to stick with Alexis Jeffers this federal election. I want you to ensure that when you go to the polls in this federal election, you give your full support and your full endorsement to the Honorable Alexis Jeffers. Because I can assure you that he will ensure that Nevis and Jessups receive their fair share. Now, I know that we have a lot of work here to do in Jessups. We have roads, we have drainage, we have other community projects to do right here in Jessups, right here in St. Thomas's, right here in Nevis number 11. And I'm here to say to you tonight that even if you were to consider the other side and you were to vote for them, you can rest assured that they will not deliver for the people of Nevis. You know why? Because they already said to you plain and straight that if they were to win and if they were to be called upon to form a government, that they don't want a portfolio. Now, how will the people of Jessups receive any benefit if you were to vote for the other side and they don't want any portfolio? I want you to think about that. I want the people of Jessups to think about that. That here it is, that the NRP candidate is saying to the world that if they were to win and if they were to form
or be asked to form a government, that they won't take any portfolio. Well, how on God's green earth that you are going to be in the cabinet where the decisions are being made and receive the benefit? How will you receive the benefit when you're out of cabinet? So I'm saying to the people of Jessups, right then and there, you have enough evidence to vote against them in this federal election. I am here to say to you that this election is a very serious election for the island of Nevis. They keep talking about how much money Nevis received, but they have not said to you how much money Nevis is owed. And I want you to think about it. The premier on his program some weeks ago outlined the amount of money. I think he said over $1 billion. Now, I want you to think about $1 billion and what it can do to transform Nevis.
Equal rights
And justice. That's right. That's what this is all about. Equal rights and justice. I want the people of Jessups to think about what $1 billion can do for the island of Nevis. In one swoop, we can eliminate the entire debt of the Nevis Island administration. I want you to think about that. In one swoop, we can create a fund for all the youngsters in Nevis to get a university degree for the next 10, 15, 20 years. I want you to think about these things. In one swoop, ladies and gentlemen, we can ensure that we have the resources to develop our geothermal project. And you all know what is happening in the world today with the price of fuel. If we had our geothermal online today, Nevis would have been sitting pretty because the energy surcharge would not have been impacting us. I want you to think about these things. Ladies and gentlemen, this election is a serious, serious election. And I want to appeal to the people of Jessups in particular and St. Thomas's in particular. I know that you've had a rich history of voting for the NRP, and that is fine. That is fine. You have a right to vote for whomever you wish. But I'm saying to you, let us not think about party lines in this election. Let us think about our country. Let us ensure that when the numbers are tallied, that you would have sent the Honorable Alexis Jeffers back to Bastille. And in Nevis number 10, I want to say to the people of Gingerland, my message is very simple. As usual, do what you're accustomed to do. I understand that they bring in a fellow with a similar name like the present representative, but I won't help them because they're going to use the first name. I want to say to Gingerland, you know what you are accustomed to do in Gingerland. I want you to do it again whenever this election is called. And make sure that when the votes are tallied, you ensure that you send back to Bastille, Eric. I'm going to leave out the middle name for tonight. Evelyn. He said I must call the middle name. I'm going to leave it out. But ladies and gentlemen, I want the people of Gingerland to send a clear message to all and sundry that doesn't matter who they send, the result will be the same. Because the people of Gingerland know good, decent, and honest representation in Eric Evelyn. And I want you to send him back to Bastille. Now, come to Nevis number 9. And I don't know what this gentleman do there. I have been trying to figure it out now for the last decade. You're right. is grudge the grudge. I don't know what it is that the Honorable Mark Brantley have done them. Some people say, well, it's too plain, but that's good because he speaks what's on his mind. Some people say he's too bright. Well, nothing wrong with being bright. That is a God-given talent that he has. You can't fault him for that. And it comes from Eric constituency, Hanley's Road. But ladies and gentlemen, seriously, they have sought to throw everything at this young man. I can say he's young man because he might be only a year older than I am, a year or two. So I think that we can still say young man. But ladies and gentlemen, I want to say to the people of Nevis number 9, St. John's and St. Paul's, when the numbers are tallied after this election, I want his opponent to get such a beating that she would not even consider running in the local election. I want to say to the people of Nevis number 9 that when the election date is wrong, that you rally with the Honorable Mark Anthony Graham Brantley and send him back to Bastille. He and the CCM has been the champion for Nevis' fair share. And I'm saying to you that he knows we have a lot of work to do in the island of Nevis. I know sometimes he must just get fed up with me because I tell him I have this to do and I say, Minister, Lord, give me a break. I can't afford it. I don't have the resources. You understand what we are dealing with? I am saying to the people of Jessups and the people of Nevis, it's like we have literally free money on the table and think it's sitting down. That is what this is all about. We have a lot of projects, a lot of development here on the island of Nevis that we need to get on stream. But we cannot do it if we decide to vote for the other side. Because the other side, I tell you plain out, they have no interest in the development and the people of Nevis. None at all. Because the way in which they are talking, the way in which they are acting, they don't love and care for the people of Nevis. Ladies and gentlemen, as I said to you tonight, my message is very simple. In Nevis number 11, you have the Honorable Alexis Jeffers. You have a man who is committed to the people of Nevis. You have a man who is committed to the people of Nevis number 11, St. Thomas's and St. James. I am asking you to give him that opportunity to represent you once again. In Nevis number 10, you have the Honorable Evelyn. And I'm asking you to give him that opportunity once again to represent you in Bastille. And in Nevis number 9, you have our Premier, the Honorable Mark Brantley. And I'm saying to the people of St. Paul's and St. John's, give him that opportunity once again to represent you and to carry out the mandate of the people of Nevis. The message is simple and the message is clear. I can say to you tonight, ladies and gentlemen, that if we really want to see this island develop and move forward, I believe that you will agree with me that you will stick with the Concerned Citizen Movement Party and move forward. This is Nevis' time. And I want you to think about that very carefully. That this is Nevis' time. We have been down this road before. We have had opportunities in the past before. But I'm saying to you that the 3 gentlemen that we are sending to sink it, you can rest assured that their only mission is for the island and the people of Nevis. So ladies and gentlemen, we have a lot of speakers tonight. But I wanted to share with you tonight that very simple message. And the message is country above self. And the only political party on the island of Nevis that is putting country above self is the Concerned Citizen Movement Party. The only representatives that are putting country above self in this federal election on Nevis is the Honorable Evelyn, is the Honorable Mark Brantley, and the Honorable Alexis Jeffers. So, ladies and gentlemen, while you may have a choice in this election, there should only be one choice, and that is the Concerned Citizens Movement Party. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight I say to you that on election day, I am asking you to give your overwhelming support to your CCM team. I am asking you to ensure that when the numbers are tallied, that you would have elected your 3 CCM candidates for the federal election and send them to Bastia to represent the island and the people of Nevis and the wider federation. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, good night, and God bless.
Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. There's a snake in the country, and his name is Timothy. Tell that scam divisions want their money. He went and signed the treaty down there by the library. Bowling and division is his daddy. The man is a scoundrel, it's plain to see.
Yes.
He's teaming up with the NRP.
Thank you, Spencer Brand. I told you all we have good speakers. You know that song that's so sweet, I was about to dance, but when I thought about it, I remember.
Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. There's a snake in the country, and his name is Timothy. Tell that scam divisions want their money.
All right, DJ, cut that short. I know I can't dance already. Everybody know I can't dance. The good thing is we got people who go dance, That's the good thing. Ladies and gentlemen, we are so happy that you have decided to join us. Whether you're here in person or you're here on the live. Because we have an important message to bring to you. You heard it just now from the Honorable Spencer Brand. He is a man who has the heart of the people carrying with him. He's somebody who loves people, and he goes out every single day to work on your behalf. And that is what we have in the Concerned Citizens Movement right across the board. So we are bringing back to you 3 gentlemen that you know that they can represent you. When you contrast what we have here in the Concerned Citizens Movement with what we have masquerading in the NRP as presumed representation, there is really no comparison. I am sure that when the folks from the NRP come around and they try to talk to you, they don't tell you one single thing that they plan to do for you if they were to go to St. Kitts to represent you. God forbid. When you listen to them talk, we have one of them saying, yes, if I get to go over to St. Kitts, I'm going to go, but I won't take a position in the cabinet. Because what? They don't understand what government is about. They don't even understand why they put the name up to say that they're running for election. They don't understand. Because how are you going to say that you're not going to take any cabinet position? Well, how are you going to do anything for the people who vote for you? What can you do? And the answer is nothing. And when they come around to you, I'm not telling you not to listen to them. Listen to them. Because I'm very sure that they are not going to tell you anything about representing you. They're not going to tell you anything about getting a fair share of the federal pie for you. They're not going to tell you about getting any of the CBI. You know what they're going to say? Let's St. Kitts keep the CBI out there. Let it do well for everybody over in St. Kitts. And we over here in Nevis, we gonna find ways to do other things. You understand? That is what they're walking around and saying. And you know why they're saying it? Because the paymaster is from over in St. Kitts. That is the person who is financing them. That is the person who is doing everything for them. So they can't open their mouth and say anything contrary. And I want you all to listen. Have you ever heard them open their mouths to say one word about anything bad that has happened to us here in Nevis? No, they have not. Have they opened their mouth even one time to say that we here in Nevis deserve a better share or deserve a fair share of the CBI? No, we have not heard that. Up to now, we have not heard it, and we will not hear it in this campaign, because they are not about representing you, the people of Nevis. They are looking for other things. Ladies and gentlemen, we continue. And you all realize when the music was playing a bit earlier, all I don't realize I got two left feet. Well, I want to call somebody who has left and right and is well coordinated, you know, and he has been representing the people of Gingerland and doing a very good job at it. And so I have absolute confidence that whenever the bell is rung, whenever they get some confidence and decide that they're going to ring the bell, or whenever the time run out on them and they decide that they're going to ring the bell, I know that this gentleman is going to take Gingerland hands down. So I want to welcome to the podium none other than the representative for Nevis 10, the Honorable Eric Rohan Evelyn.
There's a snake in the country, and his name is Timothy. Tell that scam divisions want their money. He went and signed the treaty down there by the library. Balling and division is his daddy. The man is a scoundrel, it's plain to see. I hear he teaming up with the NRP. But give all of them this message from me.
Good night, good night, good night to the good people of Jessups. Let me say a special good night to all of the wonderful people who are listening via the radio and those of you who are following online. It is such a pleasure to be in the heart of Jessups and to be in the heart of St. Thomas's. And if you see me looking a little happier than usual tonight, I am. Because as I looked at my telephone a while ago, I realized that today is the 7th of July. Do you know what that means? Do you know what that means, Jessups? Do you know what that means, St. Thomas's?
We're ready, we're ready, yeah, we're ready, 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 ready.
Do you know what that means, Nevis 9? Do you know what that means, Nevis 10? Do you know what that means, Nevis 11? That within a month we will have a new government, a new federal government to run the affairs of St. Kitts and Nevis. And your humble servant will be a part of that new government in Bastille. The Honorable Alexis Jeffers will be a part of that new government in Bastille. And the sheriff, our premier, our leader, the Honorable Mark A.G. Brantley will be a part of that new federal government of St. Kitts and Nevis. And so, as I looked at my phone and I saw the 7th of July, bearing in mind that the House was dissolved on the 10th of May, 2022, and by the 8th of August, elections must have been held in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. And so I'm super excited, Jessups. I'm super excited, Nevis. I'm super excited, the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. Because you know why I'm so excited? Because I love to serve my country. I love to serve my fellow men. And every opportunity that I get, I will serve, and I will serve and serve until there is no more. And so we are here in the good parish of St. Thomas's tonight, in the good village of Jessups. And another reason why I'm excited to be in Jessups and in St. Thomas's, because guess what? Jessups and St. Thomas's are slowly but surely coming on board with the big blue machine. They are surely coming on board with the CCM. And since the last federal election in 2020, the people of St. Thomas's have seen the light. And they have voted for the Honorable Alexis Jeffers. And I'm very confident that come in the next couple of weeks, because the election must come. It must come. No matter how it's held back, it must come. And I'm confident again that when the election is called, when the bell is rung, and when the votes are tallied, Jessups and St. Thomas's will speak overwhelmingly again, and will speak on behalf of Alexis Jeffers and the concerned citizens movement. And I'm happy that the people, you know, a couple of years ago, the big blue machine, sometimes we were a little bit afraid to come to St. Thomas's and to Jessups, but not anymore. Because the people over here are warming up to us. And they're going to warm up even more. And they have all right to warm up to us. Because I am going to make one simple case. Just a simple case why the people of Jessups and the people of St. Thomas's must continue to stick with the CCM. Those of you who are with the CCM, you must continue to rally with this big blue machine. Those of you who are not on board yet, it's time to get on board with the big blue machine. It's time to come on board with CCM. Because you know what? St. Thomas's and the people of Jessups, you have seen your best days under the concerned citizens movement. And irrespective of what people have said, that, oh, St. Thomas's ain't get anything, look around. When you are in Jessups, Jessups is smack right in the center of all good things. When I was driving here tonight, and I glanced down at the Malcolm Gishard Recreational Park, it's not in Jessups, but the Jessups is close, very close to the Malcolm Gishard Park. And that park is in St. Thomas's Parish. When we look at the international banks up at Barnes Gut and over there in Cotton Ground, when we look at the villa and the hotel developments in St. Thomas's Parish, if you look left, if you look right, if you look north, if you look south, once you're in Jessups, wherever you look, it's development after development, and it's under CCM. And so Jessups and St. Thomas's, you are seeing your best days under this great party. And facts are facts. Those are the facts. And you can't deny them. They came under the CCM, under the big blue machine. The next reason why you must stick with the CCM and the big blue machine is the fact that this great party, the party that I'm so proud to be a part of, and you know what? The other party does cost me, But then I have to remind them that I rejected them because they were after me. And I said to them, absolutely no. I rejected them. And you, the people of Jessups and the people of St. Thomas's, you must reject them too. Because they are no good for this country. You must stick with the CCM. Because the CCM is the party, the only party on the island of Nevis that stands for Nevis, for Nevisians, and for residents. We are the only party that is serious about the development of Nevis. The only party. And that is why the good people of Jessups, we are asking you to join the bandwagon, join the train, and remember I said a while ago, that very shortly, there will be a new government elected and sworn in Bastille. And I want the people of Jessups and St. Thomas's to be proud to say, I was a part of that, sending Alexis Jeffers to Bastille again. I want the people of St. Thomas's and Jessups to say, well, listen, I was a part of the movement to get the CCM back in government, in the federal administration, because we must continue to stand up for Nevis. And that is why you must stick with us. We are the only party, the only one that is standing up for Nevis, standing up for Nevisians, standing up for what is right. Of course, during this campaign, you have heard the refrain over and over and over again. And you will continue to hear it over and over and over again, because we are going to sing it in your ears, because that is what you need to hear, that Nevis deserves its fair share of the CBI monies. The CBI monies don't belong to St. Kitts. They belong to the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. It belongs to all of us. And so we deserve what is ours. And your CCM party, your big blue machine, is the only party on Nevis that is standing up for the fair share of Nevis. You haven't heard that fair share tune being sung by anyone else, have you? No. Because as Troy rightly said, they have to sing what their paymasters tell them to sing. But the good thing about it is, this great party, with the three Hebrew boys in myself, Alexis and Mark, we don't have any paymaster anywhere. And so we can think for ourselves. And that is why we will continue to stand for Nevis, and we will continue to ensure, to rally, and to ask for our fair share, what belongs to us. We will demand it until we get it. We will not rest on our laurels. And that is why the good people of Jessups and St. Thomas's, you must continue to rally with your CCM party. Ladies and gentlemen of Jessups and St. Thomas's, you in 2020, you assisted for the very first time in ensuring that we send Nevis 11 in the CCM column to St. Kitts. For the very first time in our history. And I want to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that you have not been disappointed in any way. Alexis, who you sent, myself, and the sheriff, we have worked and worked and worked hard for you. That is what you sent us to do. And that is exactly what we have been doing on your behalf in Bastille, in the federal government. Because we realize that over the years, Nevis has not been speaking with one voice. And when we got that mandate, when we got all three, which we will get again in the next couple of weeks, we went to Bastille to work on your behalf. And work we did. And work we will again when the bell is rung and when the elections are called and when the votes are counted. We are going back to represent you. And so, ladies and gentlemen, because of the fact that we did not disappoint you, you absolutely must stick with the CCM. You must stick with Alexis Jeffers. I know that as we walk around, some people might complain and say, well, I don't want to say Alexis enough. But the good thing about it, ladies, and no one can say and be correct and said that Alexis did not work. He worked and worked well, tirelessly, diligently. He's often referred to as the hardest working minister in Nevis. And he took it over to St. Kitts as well. Very busy down there with agriculture and fisheries. And not just being busy, but getting results. The results are there. And they are there plain and simple. And so, ladies and gentlemen, Alexis did not disappoint. He went to Bastille, put on his working shoes, rolled up his sleeves, and went to work on your behalf. And so, even though you may not have seen him as often as you liked, the fact is, he was working and working for you, working on your behalf, working on behalf of the people of 11, working on behalf of the people of Nevis. And so, the message is clear that Alexis has worked so well in a short 2 years. Imagine what he can do for you in a full term of 5 years. Ladies and gentlemen, we are a team. And so when we asked Jessups and St. Thomas's to send Alexis back to Bastille for us to continue to fight for our fair share, for us to continue to work for you, we are also asking you to send the entire team. The A team, I like to call it. The team with class. The team that will represent you. The team that cannot be bought. The team that will always and forever stand for Nevis. The team that always puts people first because people matter most. The team that will ensure that Nevis continues on its upward trajectory. And so, we are confident that Jessups and St. Thomas's will send Alexis back. And we are still confident, ladies and gentlemen, that up in Nevis 10, up in my constituency, up in Gingerland, that you will send me back as well. Because I'm sure all of you in Gingerland know that all I do, all your humble servant do, is serve the people. In and out of politics, that's all I have known. And don't talk about Nevis 9. Don't talk about Nevis 9. Because in Nevis 9, in St. John's, and in Charlestown, well, it's going to be licks for days again. it's going to be serious licks for days again. Because the good people of Nevis 9 have realized, listen, we have stood with you, the sheriff, for some time now, and you have our best interest at heart. And so we are sticking with you. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we are asking you tonight, those of you who are listening via radio, those of you who are following online, those of you who are hearing me in Jessups and Barnes Gut, because we're powerful tonight and I know you can hear me well. So all of you who are listening and hearing me in Jessups and Barnes Gut and Cotton Ground and Craddock Road, wherever you are, we are asking you for your full support come election day. Ladies and gentlemen, we absolutely cannot underestimate the importance of this election. It's a very crucial one. I believe it's one of the most important elections in the history of Nevis, because it could decide whether or not Nevis gets its fair share of the CBI monies. We hear a lot of nonsense going around on the island of Nevis. Where the money gone? Where the money gone? Where the took sense gone? You know, as I listened on the Mark last night, and you know, every time Mark outlines all of the fabulous projects that have been happening on the island of Nevis, I keep wondering, every time Mark speaks, he adds on more. But you know, he adds on more, but it's facts, it's the truth. As Mr. Trust said tonight, the only thing we speak on this platform is the truth and nothing but the truth. Unlike the others that every campaign they run is based on lies. This platform brings you the truth and absolutely nothing but the truth. We come with facts, we come with figures, we come with statistics, and the facts and the figures and the statistics cannot lie. And so when I heard Mark outlining all of these things that we have done on the island of Nevis, the way we have managed this country, bearing in mind that we just passed through 2 very difficult years and we haven't passed difficulty yet. And when I heard all of what has been happening on Nevis, I said, well. I want to know the people who are opposing us, where they really live. I want to know where they really live. Because you can't be living on Nevis and not seeing what is happening here.
DJ Smart.
You can't be living on this beautiful island and not realizing the developments that have been taking place. How well we have managed the country. How well we have managed with the little resources that we have. We are not swimming in money like over there in St. Kitts. We wish we were. And if we were, you could imagine how Nevis will be looking. And so, we want the good people of Jessups, the good people of St. Thomas's, the good people of the island of Nevis to continue to stick with your CCM party.
We sticking with we CCM party to fight for Green City.
You know, every time I hear that song, it give me energy, you know. And I done start to practice me victory dance home, you know. I done start to practice me victory dance home with that song there. I'm serious. Because in a couple days' time, the bell will be rung. And in a couple days after that, we'll be heading to the polls. And in a couple hours after we head to the polls, you're going to hear Nevis 9 is returned for the CCM, the Honorable Mark A.G. Brantley.
Yeah, Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum.
But you know what? Before Nevis 10 comes in, before Nevis 9 comes in, you know I gonna be in long time and just sitting patiently and waiting. Because you know Nevis 10 always comes in first. Right? So a couple hours after we head to the polls, we're gonna hear the supervisor of election said, the returned person for Nevis 10 is the CCM and yours truly. For Nevis 9, CCM, the Honorable Mark A.G. Brantley. Nevis 11, CCM, the Honorable Alexis Jeffers. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to be excited with me. I want you to feel the excitement that is coming in the next couple of weeks. And you know, as we continue with our meetings and our walkthroughs and our interaction, it's getting more and more excited. You know, as we do our walkthroughs, the response has been overwhelming. The response has been very positive. And Jessups and Thomases, we want you to continue to stick with the CCM. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to be too long tonight. I don't want to steal the thunder of your representative, the Honorable Alexis Jeffers. And of course, our party leader, the sheriff, is there to come. But I'm going to say before I go, I'm going to say something that I said when I was in Barnes Gut. And I'm going to be bold to say it again tonight. On this, the 7th day of July, 2022. Jessup's people, St. Thomas's people, the only option you have in this election is the hammer, the blue, the CCM. You know, when I was at the Mango Festival on Friday over at Cades Bay, a businessman came up to me and he said, he spoke to someone else who was close to me and he said, I'm a businessman, so I can't say much. But for this, I'm not going to talk about the local election, but for this federal election, everybody in Nevis should be voting for CCM. Because CCM is the only party standing up for Nevis. And so I'm going to say now what I said in Barnes Gut a couple weeks ago. Jessups, Barnes Gut, Cotton Ground, Craddock Road, Westbury. If you're not voting for CCM, stop home. Let me watch the camera and say so again. If you're not voting for CCM, please stay home and rest yourself. And wait for the election results. Because even if you go and you vote for the other party, you will still be hearing that CCM won in 9, 10, and 11. Jessups,
Increase the momentum.
Jessups, we're looking for your support. Join the bandwagon. CCM all the way. All three for we. Thank you. Good night. And God bless.
Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. Begin with we CCM party. CCM party. To fight for Green City. We sticking with we CCM party. CCM party. To remove Timothy. There's a snake in the country, and his name is Timothy. Tell that scam divisions want their money.
Yes, song sweet boy. I want to dance again. Thank you very much, Honorable Eric Evelyn. One of these days I'm going to get you the dance. You know, you go ahead and laugh at me. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it from the Honorable Eric Evelyn. And you know, I want to agree with him. Because when you look at what is happening around here, It's only the concerned citizens movement who is standing up for the people of Nevis. So, Eric, I agree with you. If you're not going to go to the poll to vote for CCM, then maybe it's best to sit this one out. Because this one is not just about regular party politics. This is about us here in Nevis. This is about us being able to realize that full and fair share, that full and fair citizenship. You know, when I don't even know the last time I traveled, because I don't like to travel. But when you go to travel and you look on your passport says St. Kitts and Nevis, It don't say St. Kitts by itself. I don't say Nevis by itself. No country name St. Kitts by itself. No country name Nevis by itself. The country is St. Kitts and Nevis. So whether you're from Bastille, or whether you're from Tabernacle, or whether you're from Cotton Ground, like the Prime Minister said he father from, or you're from right here in Jessups, we all deserve the same fair share and fair treatment in this federation. And it's sad to see how things have turned out. And you know what? Whenever anybody want to do anything bad to the people of Nevis, you know who they could always enlist to help them? NRP. NRP, when Douglas was putting pressure on the people of Nevis, who was there in lockstep with him? NRP. Now Timothy Harris decide he don't want to keep the promises that he committed to. Who there with him? NRP. You understand? And you know the thing about it? They got some good people who support NRP, Because some of them, when you talk to them, they tell you, oh, NRP ain't in nothing with no Timothy Harris. And sometimes I watch them and I say, boss, y'all really don't know what's going on. You don't know what your own party doing. So one thing I can guarantee you, that the concerned citizens movement, we have not sold out to anybody, and we will not sell out to anybody. Our sole intent is to represent the people of Nevis and to do it to the best of our abilities. So, again, I want to agree with what Eric said earlier. If you're not coming out to vote for the concerned citizens movement in this one, stop home, sit it out, and let the concerned citizens movement get that mandate to go back to St. Kitts to represent the people of Nevis. In 2020, the concerned citizens movement, we did something that many people were saying, oh, that can't happen. And the person who was responsible for that is right here tonight. He is now the representative for Nevis 11 in the federal government. For the first time in the history of politics in Nevis, the concerned citizens movement was able to take the Nevis 11 seat. And we want to thank all of you who gave us that vote of confidence. We want to thank all of you who went out and rallied with the Honorable Alexis Jeffers. And we want to call on you once again to support the Honorable Alexis Jeffers in 2022 in Nevis 11. So he could continue to do the good job that he has been doing since 2020. He didn't get a full term. So we want to call on you to give him that full term so he can continue to represent you. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, I want to call to the mic the man who is the representative for Nevis 11 and the man who will continue to be the representative for Nevis election, for Nevis 11 whenever the elections are called and the votes are tallied. I have every confidence that the Honorable Alexis Jeffers will be returned as the representative for Nevis 11. So help me welcome to the podium the Honorable Alexis Jeffers.
Prince of Darkness walks behind me, but he will never, 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 never control me. Today I live a life of sorrow, working for the joys of a bright tomorrow, carrying my cross, carrying my cross.
Thank you very much, DJ. I think this sounds real good tonight. Yes, system sounds good. So I could speak loud and clear tonight. Good night to the people of Jessups. Good night to the people of Garrick's, Pasha, Vaughns, and Cotton Ground. We have been heard over in Cotton Ground, over in Craddock Road. The whole of St. Thomas's are listening to us tonight. Westbury, all over. It's good to be here tonight. And 2 years ago we came. We asked for the support of the people of Jessups, people of St. Thomas Parish. And you gave us overwhelming support. So we are here tonight to say to you, thank you once again. And we are here tonight to ask you for your committed support moving forward also. Because you will help us to get back to where we were 2 years ago. I want to say tonight that the campaign is really and truly on. We came here tonight from Craddock Road. We were there until 7 o'clock tonight. And we said there's no time to go home. We are coming straight to Jessups. So here we are tonight. And you know, I love when campaign is on, you know. When the campaign is on, that's when you have that burst of energy. Because, of course, the people would give you all of the encouragement in terms of telling you, we are sticking with the CCM. We are rallying with the CCM. Because the CCM is the best party on the island of Nevis. As a matter of fact, I believe the CCM is the best party in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. Because there are persons in St. Kitts who have always asked to run on a CCM ticket in St. Kitts. But we are about the Nevis, the island of Nevis, and doing what we have to do to build this island. We can't be too much consumed with that because Nevis is where our heart lies. And Nevis is where we'll work and we'll continue to work to ensure that we build up this great island of ours. But of course, we are part of a federal system. And we are here tonight because we are now right in the middle of a federal campaign. Some months ago, the outgoing Prime Minister would have dissolved Parliament. And if I was him, I would have called election immediately. I would have called elections immediately because we were ready then. But he has sought to draw this thing out. Drawn out, drawn out, drawn out. And no matter how long he draws it out, an election day is going to come. And no matter how long he draws it out, an election day is going to come. And we are going to say right here now tonight in Jessups that he will lose. No longer the Prime Minister of this federation. But one thing I can guarantee you tonight, that at the end of these elections, The CCM will have 9, 10, and 11 as the seats that they will take back to the federal parliament and federal government. So they're just dragging out the time, yes. Because I am so confident about this election when we roll out of Craddock Road and into Jessups, into Cotton Ground. We will move out of St. Thomas's in such a strong position. Last time we rolled out of St. Thomas's 80 votes behind. I am told that we are winning the entire parish of St. Thomas this time around. History was made then in terms of winning the seat. But history would be made once again in winning the seat, but also going out of St. Thomas's in a very strong position ahead of the other party. Well, don't even talk about St. James. St. James is home to me. They've always embraced me. They've always voted for the CCM, and this time around will be no different. So that is why I feel confident. And perhaps it's because of the confidence that the outgoing Prime Minister cannot ring a bell as yet. But like I said before, no matter when it comes, the message will be loud and clear. And I like what Eric said, you know. Eric, let me remind you, back in 2011, 2013, when we had those issues and difficulties with our electoral system, electoral process that is, we said to those persons who are coming from the diaspora, from the United States and England, and other countries, if you know that you're going to get on a plane to come here to vote for the NRP, stay where you are. They said we are disenfranchising people. That's not the truth. We are not disenfranchising one soul. All we are saying is that if you're not coming to embrace the message of CCM, to vote for the island of Nevis, to vote for what we consider to be fair share for Nevis, there's no need for you to come and vote. There's no need for you to come out and vote also. But if you are coming out to vote, we are saying, vote for the only party that has been talking about fair share. The only party that had the vision in the first place to champion this cause in St. Kitts. And that is your CCM party.
Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum.
The CCM has always been the only party that has stood up for the island of Nevis and the people of Nevis. The records are there to show. We have done so. I mentioned the electoral process of 2011 when we had that bogus election. We have said to you that even when the NRP decided that all VAT money should go across to Bastille, and when they decide to send some back, it comes back to the island of Nevis. We said that is nonsense. Taxpayers' money should not leave the shores of Nevis to go to Bastille. We are not interested in taxpayers' money out of Bastille also. So we did say then that once we get into government in 2013, we are going to stop all that. How could you collect taxes in Nevis and send it across to Bastille? We said that is nonsense. And the NRP would want to confuse all that and say they had a working arrangement. That was a foolish working arrangement. What we have said this time, and we have been saying it for some time now, because you remember Bingi sang a song about we need SIDF money? A long time we are ball for money. A long time we've been advocating for what is ours. Bingi sang that song some years ago, and it was because of the CCM why he penned that song. So now we are talking about fair share. Fair share is monies derived from the sale of an asset of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. And that is a passport. That's not tax money. That is money that you derive from a sale of an asset. And if nobody in the NRP understand that, man, that money that you should be joining the CCM to champion for that those monies. Instead, they have come up with all kind of things. I have said to someone, take the name or take the island of Nevis off of that passport and try and sell it. It will just say St. Christopher. Sell it and see how much money is derived. Not one penny would be had as a result. So it has to be St. Christopher and Nevis. And where you see Nevis, it suggests to me that Nevis should get its fair portion of the sale of that asset. What is so difficult in that to understand? And when that issue was spoken about, the NRP should have jumped on board and said, listen, if it is one time in the history of Nevis, I will join with the CCM. This is the time. This must have been the time for the NRP to do that. Their party was formed back in 1970, thereabout. And you know, it was formed to look after the affairs of Nevis. They said they are going to fight for what belongs for Nevis or to Nevis. So what has happened over the years? Over the last 54 years, why have they backed down or backed away from such a fight? But they could stay there, you know. Because if they're not going to join us, CCM can do it on its own. We have called them to join us even during the COVID-19 pandemic. They refused to come. They refuse to come. But if they refuse to come, we have one mantra from this platform. And that is, we'll always put Nevis first. We'll always put the people of Nevis first. And therefore, we can do no different. We can do no different. When our premier, the representative for Nevis 9, stands up, anywhere in the world, he stands up for the island of Nevis. And by extension, the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. Eric has done the same thing. I have done the same thing. But Nevis has always been front and center in our representation. We are proud of that. And we would want to think that anyone who listens to the NRP and buys into the argument, I believe you have to check yourself. Because Nevis should always be first in your thought process. Nevis should be first in your action. And Nevis must be the island that you embrace at all times, because when good comes, it comes to all of us. When bad comes, it comes to all of us. We're not thinking about the bad. We know good things can happen. And that is why we're saying that if $588 million collected last year in 2021, $147 million out of that money should have been in the coffers of Nevis. Imagine what we could have done with that. So many things could have been done. And I can tell you what little came. And listen me good. What little came. Because you have to compare to what was held back in Bastille. Over the years, we know over $2.5 billion have been collected. They say 400 million came. Okay, 400 million came. But $400 million compared to what was left in Bastille. You have to be angry about that as a division. You have to be disappointed in the leadership at the federal level. And that is why when I hear them talk about $400 million, I will say to you that that was a figure given to the NRP. Go out and campaign with that, because they had nothing to campaign on. They had nothing to campaign on. But I will say to the people of Jessups, the people of St. Thomas's, and the people of Nevis, that in the meetings that the NRP have been having, you know, among themselves, they're saying we're going to bang it out some more. Why? They said back in 2006, they used 80 acres. It was all down there on the billboards that were put up down there at the bottom of Jessups. They said that worked then, so they're trying to see if 400 million going to work again. But it can't work this time. Divisions have become aware of the strategy and the tactics being used by the NRP. It is all about repeating something. Even if it makes sense, repeat it. Even if somebody give them and they don't believe it, repeat it. And that is what the NRP has been doing. But look at the $400 million. In 2 years of a pandemic situation, when taxes were not collected in the coffers of the Treasury or the Nevis Island administration, this island stayed afloat. Through the leadership of the Honorable Mark Brantley, we were able to see progress in this island. All of the services that were being offered to our citizens here in Nevis, they were not withheld. The social service programs that were in place or are in place still were financed by the NIA. No one can say that anything was withheld from them. Yes, there were difficult times. Now, if, for example, your tax level diminished, you had to forego certain things to ensure that your citizens survive. Well, where you think the money going to come from? Yes, we have to borrow some. But of course, as this money comes in, that was indeed needed to keep Nevis going. And all of the roads that we continue to fix. We did repairs of government institutions. We were able to complete projects. We were able to provide subsidies. We have done so many things with monies in this island that Nevis, right now as it is, many Caribbean countries are looking towards Nevis and wonder how on God's earth we were able to do it. But it was because of leadership, you know. It was because of leadership. And I want to commend the Honorable Mark Brantley and the entire cabinet for their decision making to ensure that Nevis remain a stable and a sustainable island. But I'm going to touch on the Honorable Mark Brantley later. I use the word touch, but I'll speak about him later. But let me say that we are fighting a just cause. We are fighting a worthy cause. We are fighting a cause that is going to be done to the benefit of the island of Nevis. Here's what we are saying. We are saying to the people of Jessups and the people of Nevis that we are going back to Bastille to continue that fight on your behalf. You invested in us in 2020, in 9, 10, and 11. 3 seats never before in the history of Nevis. You invested in us. And your investment has paid dividends. Further investment will be made in us and we'll go back and continue that fight on your behalf. And I'll say to you that there's work to be done on the island of Nevis. That is why we say we need money. We need our fair share. And no one in St. Kitts should think that we are out of place to ask for a fair share. We are one country. And whatever is brought into Bastille, it is to the benefit of St. Kitts. It is to the benefit of Nevis. It is to the benefit of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. So here's what I'll say to you. Our young men and young women have been clamoring for housing. About 3 years ago, we borrowed $25 million from the Social Security Board. I have said to the people of Jessups, I've said to the people of St. Thomas's and throughout the entire island of Nevis that we are going to bring housing to you. And here's how. I've said to the Premier that once we receive our fair share out of Bastille, I need another $25 million. We are not going to borrow it from the Social Security this time. We were able to do those mortgages at just a mere 5% interest. Persons are now paying between $900 to $1,200 a month. I believe if we are taking monies that we receive as our fair share, we can bring that interest rate down. We can bring those payments down. And I want to do that throughout the entire island of Nevis. Yes, here in Jessup, there are no government lands. There's hardly any government lands in St. Thomas's, but we'll seek out lands where there are to ensure that we can bring houses to St. Thomas Parish. Yes, in St. James and St. Thomas's, and to access some extent, there are a lot of government lands, yes, and we can build on those. But throughout St. Thomas's, we'll do a search to make sure that we can bring housing and our young men and young women can shake the keys someday. That is how you think as a party, and that is how you think as an institution that have always looked after the best interests of the people of Nevis. So Jessups and St. Thomas Parish will do likewise for you to make sure that you can enjoy housing just like the other constituencies. Of course, there's a small housing development down here. We can get more in this area, and we'll do that. During our canvassing in St. Thomas over the last couple of days, St. Thomas Parish that is, especially there in Cotton Ground, that major field over there in Cotton Ground, we're doing some work there. I said to the young men that we'll do more, because just like over at VOJN, where persons journey to St. James every Sunday or Saturday and Sunday to play cricket, we want to get a stadium over there in Cotton Ground. That ground have seen many superstars who would have played for Nevis, for the Leeward Islands, for the West Indies. Keith Atherton from right here in Jessups. Derek Parry. Livingston Jabada Lawrence for the Leeward Island team. Those persons would love, I'm sure, to see their name on a stand over there as icons who would have played in the arena of cricket throughout the world. There are many things that we can do here in St. Thomas's because St. Thomas's is a proud constituent of the island of Nevis. And you have had so many things done in the parish of St. Thomas that I want to move down here too, one day. They don't want me. I love being where I am, but I don't mind coming down to live. Because Nevis belongs to all of us, the whole of Nevis. There's no way in Nevis I wouldn't want to live. But I'm being told by my sweetheart to stay where I am. I don't mind staying. But the point I'm trying to make here this evening is that Nevis, all of the parishes in Nevis, we want to ensure that we extend development throughout the whole of Nevis so anyone can choose any constituency and live comfortably. And we continue to do many things as well to ensure that persons can live comfortably. You see men going around the island lane or attaching those cables to the poles going throughout the island of Nevis. We are improving our CCTV reach throughout the island of Nevis. That is to ensure that we have that safety and security throughout the island of Nevis. So very soon you'll see cameras on all of these intersections going throughout the island of Nevis. That's how you think as a government. That's how you think as a party in government that has always been interested in ensuring that you bring security, safety, and sustainability to the island of Nevis. All of us can embrace Nevis and say, we love this country, man. Not this country, sorry. We love this island. We love this island. And I am proud to be a Nevisian, and every time I stand up anywhere, whether in St. Kitts or abroad, I always say I am from an island that is the closest thing to paradise and the nearest thing to heaven. That's how beautiful this place is. And that is why when persons go to the polls, I am confident that you'll continue to vote for your CCM party and the 3 representatives that will be back in Bastia in short order. So let us continue to fight for this island. Even if some say all kind of negative things about this party continue to move along in such a way that this island will be proud of this party and its representative going into the future. But ladies and gentlemen, I want to say to you that there is a saying, and it was said by, I believe it was Abraham Lincoln, way back in 1887, I believe. That's many, many years ago. He said, you can fool all of the people some of the time. You can fool some of the people all of the time, but you can never fool all of the people all the time. And I say that to say this. I have heard some rhetoric coming out of St. Kitts by the outgoing Prime Minister about our leader. And I am saying to you that I don't think anyone right now on this platform who come here knows my leader as best as I do. I'm sure many will say they know him more than me. But I'll say this to you. We entered politics together. So I've been at his side from since then until now. But before that, we went to sixth form together. So I know the man. And when I hear these things being said about my leader, the leader of this island, the leader of this proud party, in many ways, I'm not going to repeat what has been said. But I'll tell you this much, and I'll tell the people of Jessups, tell the whole world that Mark Brantley, as the leader of Nevis, has demonstrated that he's one of the best leaders this island has seen.
Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum.
And that is what is bothering many of them across the waters, including the outgoing Prime Minister. I don't want to use those terms and those languages, but I'll tell you this much. Mark Brantley has demonstrated as a leader that he has the temperament, he has the understanding, and he has what it takes to lead this island. And he has done so in a fabulous way. And why I say that, here's why. No other leader has had to take this island through the difficulties that the Premier has had to do over the last 2 years of facing the pandemic that we would have faced. And many leaders may have gone through hurricanes. They have gone through the closure of 4 seasons. They have gone through other difficult times. The financial services meltdown in 2008. But when you think about what happened during the pandemic of 2020, the COVID-19 pandemic, that is, all of the borders throughout the world was closed. All borders were closed. No planes were flying. No boats were moving. Nobody was going anywhere. It's like we were cut off from the world. All countries had to close their borders. And in spite of all that, we were able to stay afloat in this island. Four Seasons closed. The revenue you got from Four Seasons were not there. As I said earlier, taxation, the level of taxation in terms of the returns or collection was not there. Through all that, we would have gone through some tumultuous term or times. And when you look at the premier, I have asked him time and time again, boy, how you get this do? How you get it do? And he just shrugged his shoulder, which he does from time to time. But what he is suggesting to me is that it's because of his steady hand, because of his leadership. Leadership in difficult times. Leadership when you didn't have access to the billions of dollars coming out of the SIDF. Leadership when you didn't have the resources that was available to the federal government. He was able to take the Nevis Islanders administration through all those difficult times. And I must commend him. And the people of Nevis must know that Mark Brantley has the interests of this island at heart. And no matter what is said by anyone over on the other side, a word was used before, but I won't use it. But I'll say to you that Mark Brantley has rented some space in the head of the outgoing Prime Minister. He has rented some space there and he ain't paying a thing for it. Because every time he talks, it's about Mark Brantley. But Mark Brantley is such a strong-willed person. And that is what you need in leadership, you know. People will say things. People will throw things at you. But the important thing is to stay focused. Stay focused, and that is why when you go to the polls and you're seeking to send someone to lead a team to send kids, when you're thinking about the best leadership in Basse-Terre, you have to think about Mark Brantley. When you think about the team that he's going to lead, you have to think about Eric Evelyn in Nevis 10, and you got to think about Alexis Jeffers in Nevis 11 to make up that team that will be led by the Honorable Mark Brantley. That's a solid team. And do the comparison. You can do the comparison. In Nevis 11, I'm running against someone who 20 years ago came back to Nevis, never said hello to anybody, never said good morning to anybody, drove around Nevis, don't even know where Fountain Gut is in St. James. Just, Anna Winner is right, that's me. Don't even know where to go in the constituency because, you know, they never had the interests of the people. They never thought that they would have been in politics, but in 2021, somebody picked up the staff and threw it into politics. And have now come to the people of Nevis 11 to say, vote for her. I am so disappointed with how people see politics on the island. There must be something to show. As they say, show me your trophy. Where your trophy there? Where your trophy there? But I'm not going to spend time there. But at least the people of Nevis 11 have told themselves, listen, it's one person on the ballot they see, and that is Alexis Jeffers. And also I want to say to the people of Nevis 11, it's two Jeffers on the ballot, I understand. But anyway, I'm not thinking about the Jeffers there. I want you to go into the polling station, and all you're going to look for on the ballot is the hammer. And if you are one of our Spanish-speaking brothers and sisters, you're going to look for Mateo. Hammer. No, boy, I know it a long time. Mateo. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly because the Spanish would rattle it off. Mateo. But you're going to go into the polling station and you're going to look for the hammer on the ballot. Because I don't want no confusion come election day. You're going to look for the hammer and you'll vote for the hammer in Nevis 11. And when it's all said and done, it's hammer time. Your blue team in St. James, St. Thomas Parish will be number 1. Then you go to Nevis 9 and it's hammer time again. But you'll vote for the Honorable Mark Brantley because there's no confusion there. No, there's no mix-up there. Mark Brantley will be your representative there in Nevis 9. And then, of course, you go up to Nevis 10. And there's no confusion up there because, oh my goodness, Eric said by 11 o'clock he coming to help me in Nevis 11. Imagine that. Boy, Eric, you have an easy task up there because they take up someone from Barnesgot and they catapult, Kinney Cat, jump over all kind of parish and, and villages to reach up there. I don't know how we find a bearing to get up there, but you have an easy time. But leave that alone. All I'm saying is that the people of Nevis 11, Nevis 10, and Nevis 9 have clear choices in these elections. Why I say that? The other side have told you what they won't be doing. They ain't going nowhere to represent you. That is what they're saying. They're saying, I don't want a portfolio in St. Kitts. I'm just going to go and collect my money. But you have to examine them, because so a man thinketh it, so he doeth, yeah? Because from the time they tell you they don't need a portfolio, they're saying to you that they're not worthy to get your vote to represent us in Bastille. They're not worthy. Because from the time you jump on this platform and you're seeking representation or seeking to represent your people, you have to come with a purpose. A purpose and a plan, of course, and lay it out to the people. But from the time you say you don't want no portfolio, it means that that is the mantra of the entire NRP party.
It's so unjust, children. You don't know who to trust.
And that's true. How could you trust them? How you could trust them? Over the years, the NRP have demonstrated to you they're not trustworthy. They're not trustworthy. And point out to the people of Nevis here in Jessup where the CCM has failed you. Nowhere. I don't care what you say. We have not. Because if we can, we have done. If we can't, we have said what the difficulties are. And that's how we are. Transparency. All about keeping things in such a way that all of us can be proud of this party and this island. So ladies and gentlemen here in Jessups, I want you to tell your friends, your family, and your whole community that an election is coming very shortly. As a matter of fact, perhaps by this weekend we'll get a date. And when we get that date, it may be before Culturama, it may be after Culturama. We'll still have our Culturama. But in all that, keep in mind that the vision and the focus should be on those elections. There are some people who say they don't like to vote for federal elections, And I hear you. Over the years, we have had persons who have been adamant that they're not voting for federal elections. But I'm saying to you, this time must be different. This time must be the time when you tell yourself that the cause, the reason why you're voting is a just one, an important one. One that embodies what we believe here in Nevis, that Nevis must be placed first. And whatever is about Nevis must involve all of us, and all of us must embrace it. So I'm encouraging all of those persons who are thinking otherwise. Go out and vote. Go out and vote. This island needs that vote. This party needs your vote. This federation needs your vote. Because in St. Kitts they're saying the CCM is coming over with 3 seats. And they need somebody. But our partner will get it. That is the People's Action Movement. But a lot of talking going on over there. All that we're concerned about here in Nevis is the CCM party winning 9, 10, and 11. 3 seats. That's all we're concerned about here on the island of Nevis. And we're encouraging the people of St. Kitts to do likewise and vote for our partner, our real unity partner, the People's Action Movement. But let me say, first and foremost, we must handle business here. We must handle business on the island of Nevis and invest in your CCM party to go back and continue the work that you have done. I said before that we want our money, yeah? I'm going back to it for a little bit. Because Eric spoke about the exploits we've had in agriculture in St. Kitts. I want to continue to build the sector into a sustainable one. One whereby our young men and young women can be involved in smart agriculture. And what I mean by that, greenhouse technology, whereby you can sit in any place in the world and go on your smartphone and turn on your irrigation system, turn on lights in your greenhouse or greenhouses, get into some form of production whereby you can make that an industry in terms of, for example, I said before, I do believe that we can get to a point where something like hot pepper sauce, for example, to export, put that label on that bottle, a unique looking bottle, and ship it abroad. Anything is possible. Young people need to wrap your heads around that. We had a forum last week, and the reviews have been great, that we were able to engage the young minds and say what we are hoping to deliver for our young people. I enjoy that sit down with our youth arm, and I want to commend them for coming forward. And it is this commitment we are making to our young people. This party will continue to embrace all, but most of our young people must find a place in politics. Our young people must be able to shape the vision and the future of this island. And what better way to do it but to sit around the table with us as a government and we discuss these things. Because when we put plans and programs and policies in place, it must include our young people and they must be a part of the decision-making process. And that's why that session was an enjoyable one. We'll have more of that. But young people continue to rally for your island. We'll exit the stage someday. Eric, you're very older than me. I am getting up in age too. Mark Brantley, if I'm getting up, Mark Brantley is getting up there too. So it therefore means that at some point, our young people must be the ones to move this party forward and this island forward, and by extension, the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. So you must be involved. And I want to make that commitment once again to you this evening. But ladies and gentlemen, let me say, in wrapping up, I just go on long, but I ain't going long tonight at all. That now is the time. Now is the time for you to embrace the message that we have been bringing to you night after night, day after day, week after week, month after month. Embrace the message of fair share. That is what this election is about. All of the other issues are just meant to confuse you. We have stuck to our message to you. It is all about fair share, and this is the time you must embrace it. Now is the time for you to think about the future of the island of Nevis. And the future of the island of Nevis includes our fair share that we'll get and what we'll do to develop this island. Now is the time for you to embrace the CCM party. Now is the time to understand that there is only one party that is standing up for you here in Nevis and at the federal level, and that is the CCM party. Now is the time. Now is the time for us to all understand that we are at a crossroads at some crossroads in this country. And we are moving forward. We're not going left or right, we're moving ahead. And that is the message that we're bringing to you this evening. We are moving ahead because one of the things that I'm certain of is that the CCM party will be elected in a resounding fashion to continue the work over in Bastia. So now is the time for you to embrace this party. I want to say to you this evening, people of Jessups, that I've come time and time and I'll keep coming back. And irrespective of what, you asked me to go and you voted for me to go to Bastia. As was said before, I rolled up my sleeve and went to work. The efforts are there to show. It was cut short by 3 years. We're going to go back, and I'm going to go back and continue the work that I started. And by continuing that work, it means that you'll be the beneficiary here in Jessups, in Craddock Road, in Cotton Ground, in Westbury, the whole of St. Thomas Parish, the whole of St. James Parish, and the whole of Nevis. I love doing what I do. I'm going to be honest with you. I love it. As a matter of fact, I believe hard work is in my DNA. Give me any challenge and I'll take it on head on. And that is what I want the people of Jessups to understand. That if I didn't come on many occasions, I had you in my heart and I worked for you. And I'll continue to work for you. Same here. But yes, Esther, I hear you. But I'll say further that I am prepared and ready to go right back to Bastille to continue the journey. So, ladies and gentlemen, as I exit this stage, I think I've had a good run. I want to say to you tonight that in Nevis 9, I was going to say begging you. I don't have to beg. We're beseeching you. We're asking you to continue to rally with the Honorable Mark Brantley as your representative. You have done so since 2007. And now in 2022, we're asking you to continue supporting Mark Brantley. He is the leader of this team. He will continue to lead this great team. And he cannot go to Bastille unless he have Nevis 10, which is Eric Evelyn. Eric Evelyn in a short 2 years have demonstrated that he's the best man for Nevis 11. Or Nevis 10, sorry. He's the best man. And he has demonstrated that he can represent locally, regionally, and internationally. So send him back to continue to represent. And oh, the team cannot be complete unless you send Nevis 11. Alexis Jeffers along with Mark Brantley and Eric Evelyn. Nevis 11 will come in resounding numbers so that I can continue the work that I started and to continue to represent you. I love you here in Jessups. I love the whole of St. Thomas Parish. The whole of Nevis 11 by extension. Lord, I love the whole of Nevis. I love the whole of Nevis. Why do you think I live here? Because I love this place. Nevis people, let us continue the journey. This has been an incredible journey, and we have done what we said we were going to do. We said we'll stand up to anyone in Bastille. That is what we did. No matter what they said they do, we stood up. And we'll continue to stand up. We'll stand up for you. Every day, every week, every month, and every year, we'll keep standing. Ladies and gentlemen, here in Jessups, it has been a pleasure being here. May God continue to bless the island of Nevis and by extension bless this federation. Thank you very much for listening. Have a good night and may God continue to bless us all. Thank you.
Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. There's a snake in the country and his name is Timothy. Tell that scam divisions want their money. He went and signed the treaty down there by the library. Bowling and division is his daddy. The man is a scoundrel, it's plain to see. And yeah, he teaming up with the NRP. But give all of them this message from me. CCM is the one who we want to represent we.
There we had it. Your representative for Nevis 11. That was a fiery presentation. You know, it feels good to be a part of a team like the Concerned Citizens Movement. Feels really good. Because, you know, when you are around the CCM, you know that you're around good people. And it's always good to be in the company of good people. Nevis is well represented by our representatives. And in this election, we are going to keep it just like that. So we're going over to Bastille the same way as we did in 2020 with 9, 10, and 11 in the CCM column. And you know what? When we go over with 9, 10, and 11, we're going to come back over with that fair share that we have been talking about all the time. You know, just a couple minutes ago, I had a little look at a long time video with Timothy Harris. The video features Timothy Harris giving some punditry on some sort of judgment. And the amazing thing about it is that he is there and he is saying that the person who is the prime minister is supposed to be the person who commands the majority in the parliament. He gives a whole explanation. And I believe that that video is going to be going around viral. So I want all of you to get a copy of the video and have a look. Because when you look at it, you will understand the hypocrisy that we have walking around calling himself Prime Minister till all now. The man should have resigned long time. We have Boris Johnson in England who has signaled that he's going to step aside. He has signaled he's going to step aside because he has lost the confidence of his party. And that was a noble and honorable thing that Timothy Harris should have done since his 6 representatives decided that they were going to leave him. Ladies and gentlemen, it's getting late. We have one more speaker to come. Before that, I want to ask all of you to join us in Brooklyn this coming Saturday. We're going to have a big meeting and rally in Brooklyn this coming Saturday, 8 p.m. sharp. Make sure you're there. If you can't make it in person, make sure you're tuned in to the live. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've heard from the representative for Nevis 10. We've heard from the representative of Nevis 11. And now it is my privilege to introduce the current representative for Nevis 9, and he will be the representative for Nevis 9 after the elections are called and after the votes have been tallied. He is the Premier of Nevis and the leader of the Concerned Citizens Movement. Please help me welcome the Honorable Mark A.G. Brantley to the podium.
Good evening to Jessups, and good evening to the whole of this great parish of St. Thomas's. I'm always very happy to be in St. Thomas's. In fact, I heard a complaint recently saying that Mark Brantley was spending too much time in St. Thomas's. I believe that's a good complaint, because I've been over here spreading the message and letting the people of St. Thomas's know that they are a critical part of what we are seeking to do here on the island of Nevis. We, ladies and gentlemen, have brought 3 candidates to you. There is no debate, there is no discussion, there is no controversy that we have the best team available, not only on the island of Nevis, but in this entire election cycle. We have brought a quality team to you. In the Honorable Eric Evelyn in number 10, they say he's the mayor of Hanley's Road. Now they say he's the mayor of Gingerland. We have myself offering again my services to the people of number 9, St. John's and St. Paul's. They have been with me since 2007. In the by-election, they elected me by the whopping margin of 30 votes. And every election since that, they've increased the tally. I want you to understand that we ain't just come. We are experienced. We have been there. We have been providing leadership, servant leadership now for some time. In the context of elections, I would have been involved in elections in 2007, 2010, 2011, 2013, 2015, 2017, 2020, and we will be back in 2022 shortly. And on every one of those elections, we have prevailed, except the one that the thief in 2011. And we went to the court, and the court righted that ship, and here we are today. Now, the people of Jessups, I am here with a very simple message. That the Concerned Citizens Movement is demonstrating that we are the party that is prepared to stand up for you and for the people of St. Thomas's and for the people of Nevis. In the Honorable Alexis Jeffers, we have a representative who I can trust, a representative whom you can trust, and a representative who cannot be bought. When he goes to Bastille, I don't need to look over my shoulder to wonder what he's doing, because he's tried and true and dedicated to the task at hand. He's committed to the people of St. Thomas's and the people of St. James, to the island of Nevis that he serves. And I have no doubt in my mind that I want to go back to St. Kitts, back to Church Street with Alexis Jeffers, with Eric Evelyn. And I want you, the people of St. Thomas's, to give us all 3 seats so that we may go down there with one voice. That voice for Nevis. You are not hearing on this platform, you're not hearing any rhetoric that seems confused. We are very, very clear that we stand with the people of Nevis. You are hearing others say, vote for them. They're going to go to St. Kitts. They want the pay, but they don't want the work because they don't want any portfolio. You have heard them castigate us, say it was wrong, it was morally reprehensible, they claimed, for one individual to run for 2 seats. For nigh 4 years, that was the NRP mantra, that it was wrong for Alexis Jeffers to run locally and federally. It was wrong for Eric Evelyn to run locally and federally. It was wrong.
Goodbye to me, haters.
Wrong, they said, for all of us to run locally and federally. And lo and behold, here comes the NRP now doing that which they told you was wrong. Now they say they have excuse. They say the election come on them too fast. They say they weren't ready. They say those that offer themselves were not able. I want to know some of them feel, because some of them name was already calling, you know. Some of them was already on Facebook cussing me, because you know that is a prerequisite. You cannot run for an RP unless you cuss Mark Brantley. That is an exam, they call it the entrance exam. You must cuss me in order to run for an RP. So some of them started cussing me. And then the rug pulled from under them too. And we end up now, who we end up with? We end up with an NRP leader who nobody knew prior to her getting into politics. For 20 long years, she lived here. And she did not even know who her neighbors were. Spoke to no one. Spent time with no one. Supported no one. Involved herself in nothing in the community. All of a sudden, she can cat and become the leader of NRP. NRP now is a party, look to me like anybody that come to take.
Tell them wicked people, fire go burn them. Fire go burn them.
You hear what the DJ say? Tell them wicked people, fire go burn them. Because the approach that it appears to me that they're taking is anybody who come, no. Look at some of them who are making the most noise on social media. Yesterday they were with CCM, today they're with NRP, tomorrow they'll be back again. Who knows? Because they have no character, no integrity. And these are the people that NRP pushing up to the front. I want to know how NRP stalwarts feel when they see some just come, some Johnny come lateys, suddenly them are the ones making decisions in NRP. You have a leader, nobody knows her, because for 20 years she was fast asleep. What they call the man in the story that was fast asleep, Rip Van Winkle. Fast asleep. All of a sudden now she wake up and say she want to serve you. Serve you at a point when she don't start collect social security. We must talk about these things, because people must understand that's so this thing go. When Eric Evelyn came, in fact, he did not offer himself. The people called for him. He had a long track record of service. When I came, I had a long track record of being involved in everything in my constituency. When Alexis Jeffers came, he had a long track record. AYPA, cricket. They say he was even a nightclub operator at one point. But you have some Johnny-come-lateys never contribute to anything in Nevis. And what is their calling card? They say, my father was from St. Thomas's and he was a great man. And yes, he's a great man. Yes, he's a great man, and I'm so proud because whilst he was yet alive, he endorsed Mark Anthony Graham Brantley. He endorsed me and asked the people of Nevis to vote for me, notwithstanding that he was the founder of the NRP. You know why? He saw value in me, and I'm still here, standing proud for the people of Nevis and the people of St. Thomas's. That is what you want people to do. That is why you elect people to stand up for you. We see them take up a young fellow from Barnescott. I won't say too much about him. Because when I heard him make a statement that Timothy Harris is the economic philosophy for Nevis, I said, I don't know he's a fella known to drink. I don't know that he's known to use substances that alter one's mind. And so he could not have been in his right mind to make such a treacherous and treasonous statement that Timothy Harris. But perhaps that is what happens when you get a bailout. You start to talk nonsense. And so they've taken him and they have, again, let me use the word, kitty cat him up in Gingerland. What do you know about Gingerland? What do you know about Gingerland? And that is what they've done. They say for him, NRP was not the first choice. NRP was the last resort. And then we have my good CCM cousin. I have said, and I make it bold tonight in Jessups to say that if it's one sure vote I have in the next election, it is Dr. Patricia Bartlett.
Give me no soup, give me no star.
I am certain that she's going to go in there and she's going to say, you know what? All my life I vote blue. I'm going to continue to vote blue. And if it is, I fool NRP and tell them I'm with them, they should know better than that. I don't understand the selection process in NRP, you know. You just jump up one morning, put on some blue clothes, and they say, I'm going to run she. I saw it work. Jessups, I saw it work. Green clothes, oh Lord. Jump up one day, take off the blue clothes, put on some green clothes, and then NRP say, I'm going to run she. That is what they do. And so I want the people of Nevis and the people of this constituency to look carefully at the candidates. Look at what is on offer. Look at who is on offer. Look at who you know and who you have seen and who is accustomed to working for you. Look at the credentials that we bring. And I am confident that this Concerned Citizens team is bringing a credible team which has a long list of accomplishments. Right here in St. Thomas's, you would have heard of some. But I want to speak tonight to this issue of fair share. It has become the calling card for the Concerned Citizens movement because it was the basis on which we said to the government in St. Kitts that we could no longer be a part of it. It was the basis on which we said we wanted change because the leadership down there was not demonstrating that it understood what it meant to be Prime Minister of the Federation. And so when we say fair share, yes, we are concerned that Nevis must get its fair share of the money because billions of dollars are flowing into Bastille from the negotiation of our passport, and Nevis is not getting anything close to a fair share. When we did the calculations, Nevis was getting somewhere in the area of 7%. and St. Kitts was holding 93% for itself. I believe that in 2021, it's the best indication that we have of the unfairness and inequitable approach, because in 2021, St. Kitts raked in $588 million into Bastia. That was money that belonged to us and to them. It belonged to the country of St. Kitts and Nevis. And out of 588 million, Timothy Harris sent 45 and kept 543 for himself. And then had the gall to try to say to Nevis people, why I make nice for? You should be satisfied. Equal rights and justice, DJ, you're right, because that is what this campaign is about. Let me talk to the youngsters, because some of them have come to me. They have said that the agents of Timothy Harris are coming to Nevis saying that some of the programs that were put in place, voted for by the CCM in cabinet, that those programs are going to be stopped. So they say the peace program will stop. Let me tell you, the peace program will continue, except that Nevis now must have its own program. They said the STEP program is under pressure. Let me tell you, the STEP program will continue, but Nevis now must have its own, managed by us. We go through the communities. We see in the communities pockets of need. In every country, there are pockets of need. We visited here in St. Thomas's, spoke to a lady. She needs some work done on her roof. And when we talk about fairness and unfairness, when we talk about fair share, I want the people of Jessups and the people of St. Thomas's to understand what we're saying. Because imagine, after the hurricane season of 2017, we had this hurricane relief fund against selling passports that was put together. It brought in hundreds of millions of dollars. They said they're going to fix people's roof. We said that was a good idea. They said to Nevis, could you get your disaster management people to send us a list and an estimate? Well, in those early days, the guys just put together what they had at the time. It came to 3.5 million EC dollars. They sent a check after much argument down there for 3.5 million. That is all that Nevis got. But in St. Kitts, this is now 2022. From 2017 till now, it's 5 years later, they still say them a fixed roof for St. Kitts. They're still building whole house for people in St. Kitts. And the last number I saw was over $70 million has been spent on that program in St. Kitts. Nevis get 3.5. Nevis get 3.5. But they say we greedy. They say we are greedy for saying that these things cannot continue. When you look at the peace program, 1,225 people as of 3 weeks ago were on that program. 71 in Nevis. They said in Nevis, no women can go on the program, but in St. Kitts, women are on the program. In Nevis, they said to the youngsters, you can't be on peace and on step. And so in Nevis, they had to choose. And October last year was the deadline. The youngsters said, I will want to be on the peace, so I want to be on the step. They had to choose. But in St. Kitts, guess what? Their counterparts in St. Kitts, they're on step, they're on peace, and they're still on pop. Well, how that could be fair? How could that be reasonable? The STEP program, we know, is a starting program. It's a first job. It's supposed to provide some training, particularly for youngsters. It's supposed to be a help to small businesses. Every time we go to Timothy Harris and say, we want some people on the step, he said, oh, the program closed. No money is there. But yet the program continues to add people in St. Kitts. That is what we have been facing. We look at the poverty alleviation program. 5,605 people on that program getting $500 a month, but only 701 in Nevis. 5,600, but only 701 in Nevis. When we talk about fairness and unfairness, you must understand what we are talking about. We are saying that this entire country and the framework for our development must be revisited. That the youngster from must have an equal opportunity in this country, just like his counterpart from Tabernacle, just like his counterpart from Keon. The youngster right now from Barnesgott who's listening to me, the youngster right now from Cotton Ground or Craddock Road, wherever my voice is reaching, must know that if he goes to St. Thomas's Primary, then he goes to Charlestown Secondary, then he goes to Sixth Form, he goes to university, he prepares himself that he or she must have an equal opportunity in this country. That for us is what fair share is about. Fair share is not just about money. It's about reimagining our country. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. I believe that there are some difficult days that lie ahead. We are seeing escalating oil prices around the world. These are not things that we can control. We are seeing escalating food prices around the world. We are seeing pressure being brought to bear by the European Union on our citizenship by investment program. It means, therefore, that we have to have leadership that can respond. We must, upon taking office in Church Street, immediately put a team together to respond to these types of pressures. The CCM has been the party that has said to combat rising food prices under the leadership of the Honorable Alexis Jeffers, we must revolutionize food security in this country.
Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum.
We must feed ourselves and we must increase the momentum to food security. That is critical. And we have started since during the pandemic using shade house technology. Alexis Jeffers was able to distribute 5 shade houses on Nevis for free to farmers on this island so that they could increase production. We provided free fencing, free land preparation, free seeds, free seedlings, free fertilizer. We provided feed to animal farmers. We provided free fish pot wire and discounted fish pot wire, including to the fisher folk here in Jessups. We are responding because the only way we can combat rising food prices in the supermarket is for us to grow more of what we eat, to produce more food. Nobody else is talking about these things, only the CCM. Because we are saying that going forward, any government, federally and locally, has to respond to these outside influences, these exogenous shocks. Now, how are we going to combat rising fuel prices? We have to accelerate, and to use our slogan, we have to increase the momentum in relation to the exploration and development of alternative energy. Now, had Timothy Harris had any vision as Prime Minister, he would have, with alacrity, supported the geothermal project on Nevis. But I will share with you tonight that months ago, we approached him, just asking him for a simple letter to the Caribbean Development Bank to say, I have no objection to you speaking to the NIA so that the geothermal project can be financed. Up to now, he has refused to issue that letter. Comes at no cost to the federal government. I want people to understand that that is what we are dealing with. A big stone in Church Street. And they say when you find a big stone, you must go around it. You must go under it. You must go over it. But since the CCM symbol is the hammer, we're going to mash up the big stone and go right through it. That is what we must do. And you see this blue team here. I am so proud. Proud of the representatives. Proud of Eric Evelyn. Lord, when I saw Eric on the stage in Glasgow, Scotland, on the stage with world leaders, Biden, and Lord, poor Boris gone now. But on the stage, on the international stage, I said, look at this youngster from Henley Park, then Glasgow, representing us. When I see Alexis Jeffers and the way he has stood up, shoulder to shoulder with me, shoulder to shoulder with Eric. One of them tell me in sync is, that is the thing that they fear most about us because we are together, rock solid. No separation, no confusion. We are together, one voice, one song, one songbook. I'm close to a church here, so let me say, one hymnal, one hymn, same pew, same church. That is what the CCM offers us. Consistency, sobriety, serious, sober leadership that is equipped to handle the issues. You know, they have started all kinds of narrative. And what I find is so difficult for me as a Nevisian is to see those on the other side being fed a narrative from Bastille. A narrative where they say fair share is a fake issue. A narrative where they say they want you to elect them, but they want no portfolio. They just want the money. A narrative where they keep up and down asking what they do with the money that they receive from Sync is as if they are deaf, dumb, and blind. After all, we all live here. We see the roads. We see the Newcastle Police and Fire Station. We see the water taxi pier. We see the new Treasury building in town. We see the Mondo track. We see the CCTV. We see the water enhancement that has happened here on the island. We see the social safety nets that have been created for our people. We see the Malcolm Gishard Recreational Park, which has been such a hit among our people. We see the David Freeman Center of Excellence, the Joyston Library Kitchen. We see all of these developments all across the landscape of Nevis. And on top of that, we ensured that all of our public servants and pensioners were paid on time and in full, even during the world's first pandemic in 100 years. People talk about $400 million. I will remind the people of Jessups that money came over 7 years. Over 7 years. And over that same period, I would have you know that our payroll is over $100 million per year. So if you're getting $400 million in 7 years, and over that same 7-year period, you're spending over $700 million on salaries and wages alone, you're going to ask me where the money gone? Those are the realities. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to use a pet expression of mine, ignore the noise. Focus on the substance. Look around Nevis, see what is happening. Look at the housing revolution, again led by the dynamo, Alexis Jeffers. Look at what he did in Cahoons. Look at what he is doing over in Maddens. Look at what he's doing there in Craddock Road and in Hamilton. Look at what he's doing over by me in Prospect. Look at what he's doing in Rice's and up in Ghana's. There has never been such a housing revolution in the history of our beloved island. All spearheaded by the representative of this great parish and constituency, the Honorable Alexis Jeffers. So when we come We do not come telling you, give us a chance. We come with a track record of performance. We come with a track record of standing up for Nevis. And you know what I'm so proud of, ladies and gentlemen? I am proud that when we were in opposition, we stood up to inequity. And team unity came about because we said we will together fight that inequity. And then Timothy Harris lost his way and he became worse than Douglas. And so we said, Timothy, we couldn't go any further with you. And therefore we have demonstrated that in government or out of government, the CCM will always stand up with and for the people of Nevis.
He who seeks of only vanity and no love for humanity shall fade away.
I want you to recognize that we are standing firm. We are standing strong. We are presenting a blue wall, an impenetrable blue wall. They're trying all kinds of things. They're setting up here. All kinds of people trying to have all kinds of clandestine meetings. But it will not make a difference because the people of Nevis understand who is for them and they understand whose message is unclear because they cannot say anything to offend their paymaster in Bastille.
Lift up your head and hold it up high. We know that feelings of pride.
Yes, DJ, lift up our heads. Hold them up high because the CCM has a proud track record of performance, of delivery, and of standing up for the people of Nevis. I want to be pellucid that in this election, there is a clear choice to be made. You can choose a party that has that track record, that pedigree, that willingness and demonstrated capacity to stand up and to lead. Or you can take a chance with people who just woke up after 20 years and decided, let me try a thing. Leadership is not about trying a thing. Leadership is about seriousness. And I always say that we now live in very serious times, and serious times demand serious attention from serious people. The Concerned Citizens Movement is a serious party with serious leadership, serious candidates who are capable, willing, and able to do the job at hand. Send us back to Church Street. Send us back to Bastille. When we walk down there in our blue suits, let them understand that the people of Nevis are saying with one voice that this is the party that best represents our interests.
We sticking with CCM party, to fight for Green City. We sticking with.
Who else we gonna stick with? It has to be with our CCM party. That is what it must be because the CCM party is sticking with you, the people. And so over here in number 11, over here in St. Thomas's, you will see a lot of us because we are coming through. We're knocking on doors. We're hearing the issues. We're speaking to you about our plans and programs. Our message is a message of hope that better days will come. Better days federally must come. But for them to come,
is standing by my side, then why should I be afraid?
for those better days to come, you must have serious leadership in Bastille. You must have leadership that is understanding the issues, leadership that is sober, leadership that is serious, leadership that can walk the corridors of the world and take the message of development to those corridors. You know, I look at Barbados, and they have me a motley walk in the corridors of the world, preaching for Barbados and our region. I look at Evelyn, walk in the corridors of the world, preaching for St. Nevis and our region. I have tried my very best as foreign minister to do the same. And I'm here tonight to say that pound for pound, based on performance, I was the best foreign minister this country has ever had. I will say so because the record suggests that it is so. Because for me to take the St. Nevis passport to the #1 passport in our entire region, I think that speaks volumes. So, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that in the CCM you have the best team. I believe that in the CCM you have excellent leadership. I believe that all three of us have demonstrated that cohesion and that capacity for hard work. We are not shirkers. We're not lazy. We work hard. We come out of our communities and we serve our communities. We not just come, we not Johnny come lately, and we not Rip Van Winkle who just wake up. We have been here with you over the years. And I assure you, I commit to you that this party will continue to be with you. So long as we are there, we will continue to serve and serve with distinction. I will end soon. But before I go, let me say that one of the things that is not talked about often, but which I should mention tonight, is that I am so proud of the fact that with all that they're saying, with all the noise that they're making, do you realize that there's no allegation about corruption in this government? They cannot point a finger at Eric Evelyn. They cannot point a finger at Alexis Jeffers. And they cannot point a finger at the sheriff. There is no whiff. You know why? We're clean, like the Board of Health. Three Hebrew boys who can stand before the world and say before God and man, our hands are clean. And I believe that we should be proud of leadership such as that. Leadership where there are no allegations about us because we have always conducted ourselves properly. I remember on Monday mornings we would have breakfast. I said all the time, you all say Eric look good because he not eat much. Every time we go and have breakfast, Alexis and I, who both of us need to lose weight, and we order in big breakfast, and Eric said, I'll just have some bush tea, please. But we met every Monday morning to discuss what we are going to do because we recognize that in Bastille, we must have one voice. So when we go in cabinet, you don't hear Eric saying we're going north and Mark saying we're going south and Alexis saying we're going east. If a north we're going a north, all of us going. If it's south we're going, all of us going south. Because that is how we operate. One cause, one strength, unity of purpose. That is what CCM is all about. You hear about all kinds of confusion in other parties. Not in this party. Not here. Because we understand the assignment. And the assignment is to represent the people of Nevis. And so, ladies and gentlemen, the people of Jessups, the people of this great parish of St. Thomas's, I want to appeal to you on election day, and it has to be soon. In fact, I was in my car doing a calculation, and I say until August 8th from today is 32 days. And given the fact that they must give at least 17 days, clear days notice, we know that a date has to be set any minute now. The old people say night run till morning, catch them. Well, guess what? Morning will come. And Timothy Harris says, sure as the sun will rise, you will no longer be in Church Street. And what a day of rejoicing that will be. I want the people of St. Thomas's and the people right here in Jessups and Barnesgut, the people in Craddock Road and Cotton Ground who are hearing me, I want you to make sure that when the time comes that these three saints the Honorable Eric Evelyn, the Honorable Mark Brantley, and in this constituency, St. Thomas's, the Honorable Alexis Jeffers, that these three saints go marching in. I want us to go marching into Church Street. What a day it will be when we hold up that Bible and we say that we solemnly swear to uphold the Constitution, and we are sworn in once again, and we demonstrate to them all the power of the Concerned Citizens Movement. This ain't no jokey party, you know. This ain't no jokey party. This is a real movement to benefit people. And that is what we are about when we say people matter most, is because we mean it. And ladies and gentlemen, I am saying to you tonight, give us that mandate. Renew that mandate. Allow us to go back to Church Street. We want back, we walk. And we walk is not for us, we walk is for you, to ensure that the people of Nevis get their fair share. That the people of Nevis get the representation that they deserve. That is what we are seeking to do. And so yes, we will increase the momentum. Yes, we will move forward together. Yes, we will ensure that all of Nevis benefits. And yes, we will ensure that Nevis's voice in Bastille is a strong voice. No more should the people of Nevis be asked to sit in the back of any bus. No more. It is time that every boy and girl in this little island knows that he or she can grow up to be whatever they want to be. That no child will be left behind in this island of ours. No child in St. Thomas's will be left behind. Nobody in this island will be left behind, because we are a government for all. And we welcome all to the Concerned Citizens Movement. A big blue tent, a big blue machine that can take on more passengers. Join us as we take that fight for the people of Nevis, as we stand up proud and strong in Bastille. And I know that the people of this great constituency have seen in Alexis Jeffers the kind of representation that they want, the kind of representation that they need, the strength of character and commitment that the people of St. Thomas's have been accustomed to. And I say, have Alexis Jeffers continue. You made the right decision in 2020, St. Thomas's. Make the right decision again and send us back to do the work that has been left, the work that is unfinished, to deliver universal health care and health insurance to our people, to deliver that ganja industry that we've been talking about, and that they gave to Sleepy Juicy, who can't deliver nothing. I want us to work together, ensure that we can deliver for the people of this island. I guarantee the young people that economic costs at UWI will be restored for all students attending that university. I guarantee you that no student loans at Development Bank should be over 5%. It is unconscionable that people are still paying 11% on a student loan. Because while they brought it down to 6%, that was only for new loans. If you had an old loan, you're still paying 9 and 11. That is unconscionable. Imagine that we are taking up $2.5 billion to spend on a jail. Well, who they going to lock up? Who they going to lock up in the jail? St. Thomas's people? Gingerland people? Brown Hill people? Who they going to lock up in the jail? $2.5 billion for a jail. But Nevis can't get what belongs to Nevis. I want the people of St. Thomas's to reflect, and the people of Nevis to reflect, that $2.5 billion for the Harris family jail in St. Kitts is 6 times as much as the little money they sent Nevis in the last 7 years. And they say Nevis must be satisfied. They say we're greedy, and we bad mind, and we are vagabonds, because we say that treatment anymore. You want to tell me one jail what more than the money to Nevis over 7 years? One jail what more than getting infrastructural projects done in this country? One jail what more and JNF roof in Singis a leak? That is what you really want to tell us? I am saying to our people, we must stand up now. Not when it's too late, but now we must stand up. And the only party that is standing on the island of Nevis that has the credentials, that has the track record, that has the history of performance, and that has men who can stand and say before God and man, our hands are clean, is the Concerned Citizens Movement.
Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum.
And so as I end Jessups and St. Thomas's, you will be seeing us. Please open your doors. Listen to our message. It is a message of inclusion and hope. We are telling you what we plan to do as we move forward, how we plan to make your lives better, because that is what we are supposed to do. But you know, and especially for those of you sitting in your cars, that I can't come to any CCM meeting and don't ask the one question that I always ask. CCM, are you ready? CCM, they're listening to us all across the world. People are tuning. I want you to make some noise and tell me, are you ready?
Yeah, we're ready. Ready. We're ready. We're ready. Yeah, we're ready. Ready.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is my quarter. Jessups, thank you for the warm reception. Thank you for having us here this evening. And we promise to be back. We will be in every nook and cranny, every corner, every highway and byway of the constituency as we continue to preach the message of hope. That in number 11, there's only one man who can take us forward, and that is the Honorable Alexis Jeffers. In number 10, there's only one man who is sure, and that is the Honorable Evelyn. And in number 9, there's only one man over there who will take you forward. In fact, even my opponent, my good CCM cousin, will be voting for me. It has to be in number 9, the Honorable Mark A.G. Brantley. All three for we. CCM, are you ready? Thank you. Good night and God bless you.
All I do is win, no matter what. Got money on
Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. Increase the